I paint another miniature?
Sure, but instead of doing it at home, why don't we do it at the Warhammer store here in Tokyo?
Yay!
That's right, we're here at the Warhammer store and cafe here in Tokyo. We're gonna take a look inside and see all the cool dioramas and maybe have a drink or snack within as well. Looks pretty cool already. As you can see with the signage, you cannot take any videos, but you can take pictures and we'll do a whole bunch. Thanks for clicking on the video, and here on Runebound, I'm showing you a video of the general layout of the store first before we get into approximately 200 high-res photographs showing the details of these awesome miniatures. And to be honest with you, a photograph will probably do these miniatures better justice than a moving video. I'll show you multiple rusting lurgling winners first, and then we'll show you some armies, some general dioramas, and then I'll go into more details of a winner, this black one here. At the end of the video, I have multiple close-up photos of this Titan, and you can check out the fine details of this. Unfortunately, I cannot do this with every single award winner, as this would take forever, but it is what it is. We'll start off with a flyby of a case of award-winning miniatures, and you can use this video as a comparison to the upcoming high-res photographs. By the way, this is not the only case of award-winning miniatures. There are multiple cases within this store. And I've been to multiple stores, including the one in London and Barcelona, as well as United States. But man, I think this might be the best. Welcome to the channel where we munch on multiple nerdy things, from board games to Dungeons & Dragons, comic books to toys, video games on Saturdays, and gamer snacks on Sundays. We also do monthly giveaways, and this is our giveaway for the current month of September is Runebound, the 2nd edition. I'll put a link down below how to win a copy of this awesome prize, and if you're watching this from the future, I'm sorry you missed out, click our main channel page for our current giveaway. And if you enjoyed the video you're about to watch, hopefully consider hitting that like to subscribe. It's free to you, and it helps us out on the channel. Thank you for watching. Let's take a closer look at one of these award-winning miniatures right now. And because we did take a picture, we're able to zoom in and get a closer look at the finer details on it. As I mentioned, the only miniature I included multiple camera angles of was of that black Titan. If you're interested in me making a video of showing more of these award-winning miniatures, leave me a comment down below, but be aware if I add 10 photographs for each miniature, that can rack up to a lengthy video. Here we see one of the smaller award winners, and always thought of the smaller ones being harder to paint. However, my opinion has changed as seeing some of these large Titans painted to such a high tabletop standard, they're able to add such fine detail, including unique murals to their armor, which I will show you more in details of that black Titan. I'm having the camera linger on these award-winning miniatures first, and then when we get into the mass armies, I have the camera go by faster. And if needed, pause the video to appreciate the details you're looking for. Of course, feel free to do so. After this next photograph, we're going to get into the armies, and boy, there are dozens of them in this store, some of which I've never heard of. This first army does not have a nameplate, but the other ones do. Here are the Stormcast Eternals, and I'll resume commentary after these armies are presented. I'll show you more photographs of the colossal figures out the bottom row in a bit. This row of giant Warhammer miniatures are not the only ones in the store. This bottom row is just one section, and there are several others in a different case I will show you momentarily. But before we get into that, after I show you this row, there are even more armies to present to you.
underneath these Warhammer 40K armies are some colossal titans, and yes, there are quite a number of them painted to a high standard. It's just overwhelming to behold. And if you love armies, I still have more armies to show you. So you can see why I was really impressed with this Tokyo store. I think this actually presented more armies than I've seen in the Barcelona and LA stores combined. Not sure which army this is. If you know, leave me a comment down below, but I thought this was the worst of the bunch. Maybe it's because of the purple basing. Here are several photographs of these trio of giant siege elephants. They're quite fantastic to behold. There's so much detail on them, and of course, an army atop of them that I just had to show off as well. Here's a look at the elephants from the backside. And what we have next is the only set of Blood Bowl miniatures painted that I saw within the store. Here are some additional colossal miniatures to present to you now that we've finished with most of the armies. Here we have some additional smaller showpiece miniatures. Here's a smaller army that was by itself. Here's my little boy at one of the gaming tables, and we're going to take a look at all these gaming tables with multiple dioramas set on top of them and in cases adjacent to them. I find this broken down battlefield cathedral quite inspiring, and if you find this video inspiring, please consider hitting that like to subscribe. It is super duper helpful and meaningful to me. Thank you so much. Here's my daughter checking out the free miniature that the clerk gave her to paint. And if you weren't aware of this, they traditionally will give you a free miniature to paint within the store using Citadel paint. So the clerk was very helpful to guide her. And of course, this is a great way to get young players engaged in the hobby. In case you have forgotten, this is not just a Warhammer store in Tokyo, it is also a cafe, which there are only several of, including one in London and one in the Western United States. Next up, we have several photographs showing you the design of the store, the cases within, the wallpaper and artwork on the sides, and this gigantic statue of Titus standing in the middle. In a small alcove adjacent to the actual cafe portion of the store, they have some random decorations there, but guess what? They took the opportunity to present even more armies. Unbelievable. Also hidden in this small alcove are even more award-winning miniatures. It's really amazing to be here. This is not something you would be able to see from the front of the store. It was easy to miss. Here are even more gaming tables to show you. It would be a dream to play on one of these tabletops with all this awesome terrain. And you know what? I have to give credit to the clerk working there that day. He even showed my two kids how to play the game, checked some dice with them, and had a little battle and skirmish with them. Here's a look at the far back wall of the store, which features a line of books at the bottom, but above it is a multi-screen display showing off Warhammer cinematics. Let's not forget this is actually still a store and not a gallery, so they do sell Warhammer paint, of course, and multiple Warhammer related plushies. Just as I promised, at the end of this video, I'm going to show you multiple photographs of this large black titan. And Please take a closer look at the detail of its armor, especially on the shoulder pads. It's quite impressive. Here we can see the main gun on top. Here we can see the closer details of one of the murals on the shoulder pad. And yeah, that's not a decal. I would love to be able to talk to the artist that painted this, how he got the inspiration, did he lift it from some previous source book, but it's just amazing to see. And here's a closer look at the opposite shoulder. Here's a top portion of it where we could zoom in more finely because we took high resolution photographs of this. And here's a look at the basing of this gigantic Titan. Let's not forget the backside of this Titan, and despite how wonderful the paint job is, of course we should also appreciate the sculptor that designed this gigantic model. It's really rich in details. That has been our Nerd Mimic family trip to the Warhammer store in Tokyo. It was an amazing trip. If you know of another awesome Warhammer store, leave me a comment down below. Maybe we'll check it out, but it's hard to imagine any other store surpassing this one.
All right, you guys had fun at the store?
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you guys do?
We played a game. And now we painted.
Yeah, you actually played Warhammer and you won the scenario, and they gave you the miniature for free,
Yeah.
which they would have done anyways.
That's it.
Yeah, so that has been our nerdy trip here to Warhammer here in Tokyo. We didn't have a drink as we're sort of full anyways, but regardless, thanks for watching everyone, and keep on adventuring out there, even it's out in Japan, right, Ender?